Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
UK visa ban for Ghana for daring to push slavery reparations at UN. Well, I saw this coming. Remember we told you this? You see, when you deal with homosexuality, you would have the clap back. Right now, we have no rights as Africans anymore. Every idiot wants to control us as a people, and I don't know what we have done wrong. A gay guy is bold enough to approach you and tell you, I am gay, and I'm proud to be gay. And you have no right to tell him, I am straight, and I am more than just excited to be straight. They feel offended. So this thing called LGBTQI+, much as we want to empathize with whatever hatred and homophobic actions that are meted against it, we are unable to do that because it is almost becoming a terrorist organization. They visit you, my brother, my sister, with political and economic sanctions. Can I break that down? Economic sanctions, very simple. Okay, we are no longer going to give you this aid. We won't give you that aid. After all, it's not even your right to have the aid. We are just giving it to you. Every time we demand what is supposed to be ours, they call it aid. Now we say we are tired of eating crumbs from off your table. Give to us what truly belongs to us. Give us a fairer opportunity to compete. Give us the respect that we deserve. And please stop the high-handedness. And it's a problem. Hey. I woke up early this morning, and I am somebody who likes to read all over. Wherever the news is, I'll find it. And I saw in the UK Guardian something that shot me straight in the heart. My brother, my sister, watch this. The Guardian, Reform UK would stop visas for people from countries seeking slavery reparations. My brother, the Guardian is big. He said the bank is closed. In other words, any money you are looking for, we have shut the bank. You ain't getting nothing. And the door is locked, crack. We have not only closed it, we have locked it and pocketed the key, maybe thrown it into the sea. And this is a guy called Zia Yousef. As calls grow for compensation to remedy historical wrongs. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It brings tears into my eyes. Come here. Run it, my youth. Kai. Dodo. Reform UK will stop issuing visas to people from any country that continue to demand compensation from the UK for its role in the transatlantic trade in enslaved people. The party has said. Now, Zia Yousef, the party's Home Affairs spokesperson, told the Daily Telegraph that the call for reparations was insulting. Can you underline that word? Insulting. He claimed 3.8 million visas, and listen to his logic. 3.8 million visas have been issued over the last 2 decades to people from countries calling for reparations. 3.8 visas. For 4 centuries, 7 European countries, including the UK, enslaved and trafficked more than 15 million Africans across the transatlantic. Historians have linked wealth from enslavement to mass industrialization in the West. Last month, the UN voted to describe the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity and called for reparations as a concrete step towards remedying historical wrongs. Now, the landmark resolution was backed by the African Union and the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. It had been proposed by Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama, who said, "Let it be recorded that when history beckoned, we did what was right for the memory of millions who suffered the indignity of slavery." The UK and members of the EU abstained from the vote, while the US voted against resolution, which was not legally binding. Yousef told the Telegraph, a growing number of countries are demanding reparations from Britain. These countries ignore the fact that Britain made huge sacrifices to be the first major power to outlaw slavery and enforce this prohibition. He said, "The bank is closed and the door is locked for everyone and anyone who wants to use history as a weapon to drain our treasury. The United Kingdom is not an ATM for ethnic grievances of the past, and we will no longer tolerate being ridiculed on the world stage," he continued. While countries like Jamaica, Nigeria, and Ghana ramp up their demands for reparations, the Westminster establishment has rewarded them. Enough is enough. Reform UK has previously pledged to scrap international aid for countries demanding reparations. In 2023, a report on reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, written and compiled by Patrick Robinson, a former judge of the International Court of Justice, concluded the UK alone should pay $24 trillion, an equivalent of 18.8 trillion pounds sterling, as reparations for transatlantic slavery in 14 countries. Last year, the CARICOM Reparations Commission, which was set up to progress the Caribbean's pursuit of justice for centuries of enslavement and colonization by European countries, addressed misleading press reports that suggested the Commission's aim was to break the British Treasury by demanding trillions of pounds. Every week, we open the newspapers and we hear the most terrible things about these reparations. People from the Caribbean, some have said that we have come here to break the British Treasury by demanding millions and billions of pounds. And they have consistently tried to discredit what is an ongoing moral and ethical judgment for justice, the right to justice. And Professor Sir Hilary Beckles said he's the chair of the CRC. My brother, my sister, dash it away. I've had enough. Now, this guy here called Zia Yousef is an idiot. And I will not apologize for that. He was born somewhere in 1986. He doesn't know much. My brother, my sister. His parents came all the way from Sri Lanka. He's a British businessman and a politician who currently serves as the spokesperson for Home Affairs, as the Shadow Home Secretary for Reform UK. A self-described British Muslim patriot. A self-described British Muslim patriot is widely credited with professionalizing the party's infrastructure and management after becoming its chairman in July 2024. These are his credentials. He was appointed as Shadow Home Secretary in February 2026. Oh, yes. He has become a leading voice for the party on immigration and border security. He's the chairman of the Reform UK, and he served as party chairman from July 2024 until June 2025. My brother, following a brief resignation in June 2025 due to a row over the burqa or the burqa, he returned. You know what the burqa is? That thing that covers the faces of Muslim women and all that. That's burqa. If it means something else, let me know. He returned to lead the reforms Dodge team, an initiative modeled after the U.S. Department to cut wasteful council spending. And what are the key policies he supported? He has championed mass deportations. He has championed mass deportations, ending the conversion of churches into mosques, and stopping visa issuance to countries demanding slavery reparations. Yousef is a multi-millionaire entrepreneur who co-founded the luxury concierge service Velocity Black. Now, the company was sold to Capital One for a reported 300 million American dollars, an equivalent of 221 million British pounds in 2023. This is the guy we're talking about. Now, prior to his entrepreneurial career, he worked as an executive director at Goldman Sachs, according to BBC. And he was born in 1986 to Sri Lankan immigrant parents who arrived in the UK in the 1980s. So this guy is a Sri Lankan, but he is a self-acclaimed Muslim patriot, British Muslim patriot. He attended the Hampton School and the London School of Economics. He has been a significant financial supporter of Reform UK, donating over £200,000 to the party. Dash it away. This is Zia Yousef, 1986. He's made a lot of money. He was born in England to Sri Lankan parents. His point is simple. We have given so much money to those countries that are now telling us to pay reparations. Go and tell them that we are going to stop giving them visas. Tell them again that we have locked. After closing our banks, they will not get a penny. They should get out. That's what this guy, the Sri Lankan idiot, has said, and I'm hurt. My brother, this idiot is talking as if it's only Britain that gives visas to Africans, Ghanaians, and other such countries. Don't we give visas, British people? Or are your visas gold laced? Such an idiot. And it hurts me that little boys like this, by virtue of the fact that they have stayed too long in the cold, so their brains are frozen, they talk as if they don't even have it at all. And it hurts. We have given 3.8 million visas to these countries, and now they are coming after us. How many visas have we given to the UK? Did we invite you into our country when you came and stole our gold and diamonds? Did we? You came as robbers and pirates and stole from us. Be wise, idiots. Listen to how he's talking. They give visas to us, so that is reparation. Such an idiot. What a thing. As if the visa is one-sided, one-way traffic. Don't we give visas to British people who want to come here? Or your visas are gold-laced? How different are your visas from our visas? And he says that they have given enough to us, so we should stop making noise. They are tired of us asking for reparations. They won't give us anything. Listen, a man born to Sri Lankan parents, 100% Sri Lankan blood, does not even remember where his country is on the map. Can I take you to Sri Lanka? Can I take you to Sri Lanka? He doesn't know his history. Sri Lanka, my brother, my sister, was a country which itself was enslaved. Sri Lanka was colonized by how many? 3 successive European powers for nearly 450 years. From 1505 all the way to as recent as 1948. And has a complex history regarding both indigenous and colonial slavery. Can I tell you more? Listen. Now the island known historically as Ceylon. Ceylon now is the capital. Okay? Was ruled by 3 European empires. Just like us. From the Portuguese to the Dutch to the British. But these people, they started with the Portuguese just like us from 1505 all the way to 1658. They were the first Europeans to establish control primarily over the coastal regions to dominate the spice trade. When we talk Ceylon, we're talking about tea and spices. The Dutch came from 1658 all the way through 1796, and they ousted the Portuguese and implemented a structured administrative system, including Roman Dutch law, which remains a cornerstone of the Sri Lankan legal system today as we speak. From there, the British, the same British that he says he is, with Sri Lankan blood, 100%. The British were there from 1796 all the way to 1948. The British initially controlled the coast, but conquered the entire island by 1815. After subduing the kingdom of Kandy, they unified the island, developed major tea and rubber plantations, and ruled until 1948 when they gave independence to these people. His father was probably not born at the time, but his grandfathers were part of this. They were forced to work in the tea plantations for no payment. They brought in African slaves. They stole the spices, stole the tea, enslaved the people, colonized them right after. This guy, by virtue of the fact that his parents moved to England, he is now 100% British. British Muslim patriot. And he doesn't see slavery anymore because Britain helped to stop slavery. He has forgotten that Britain also pioneered slavery. You come and set my house on fire after stealing whatever you want to steal, and the house burnt down to almost nothing. You come and pour water onto it and help to quench the fire. You tell me that you are not to blame. After all, you helped stop what you started. What an idiot. I'm angry with this guy. He doesn't know who he is. He thinks because he is that log that has stayed in the water for some time, so he's all of a sudden a crocodile. What an idiot. 1986 born. He's made so much money. So the money has swallowed his brains. He's forgotten his own father's history in Sri Lanka. What they went through in the tea plantations. What they went through in the spice. That is why you see a little bit of black in him. Go to Sri Lanka. There are a lot of black people there because of the Africans that were sent there. Sri Lanka is yet another Africa, though it's not, in the continent of Africa. Go there and see the number of black people in there. And there's a dangerous caste system over there right now because of the black caste system. Oh, you owe my family. That owes my family, so you come and be my slave. Slavery in the name of caste system is still going on right there in Sri Lanka. The original country of this idiot called Ria Is it Zia Yousef? It hurts. Last week, we had Gabi Asari Ochridako, a member of the NPP, coming vitriolically against this British woman, my brother, my sister, who was saying the same thing. And this woman was originally born Kemi Agokeke. My brother, my sister, Kemi. That's it. Agokeka, a name like that. Yoruba lady. He said, no, we are not going to pay any reparations to no African countries. After all, we helped stop the slavery. Yeah, they ain't getting no money from us. That's what she said. And Gabi came down on this one. Ablakwa also came down on this woman. Yeah, there's one of our own right there in England. And her name is Pelavia Janet Ribeiro Adi. This beautiful woman. Who's telling them, you know what? Don't worry. We don't need to enter your banks. You can keep the key in the most hidden places. That's not our destination. Just give us respect. Give us an equal opportunity to compete with you. The infrastructural differences. Find a way to make things happen. Ablakwa spoke at the UN. What did he tell them during the question and answers? And when we are done, we'll close the story. Watch this.
One question. Notable among those that voted against the resolution was the United States. Were you disappointed by that vote? And also, if you can comment on those that abstained, more than 50 nations. How do you feel about those? Thank you.
So I would like to comment on the reasons they gave. They sought to create the impression that the time for negotiations has been short. The president of Ghana served notice last year in September when he delivered his address at the 80th session of the General Assembly. Immediately thereafter, we put together a broad-based coalition, including experts, academics, researchers, historians from all regions of the world, and we commenced negotiations. In the history of the United Nations, this has been a resolution that has gone through so many rounds of consultations. And even the duration for this consultation, each consultation, the standard practice at the UN is that it takes 1.5 hours. We allocated 3 hours, twice the time, and had multiple rounds of negotiations. So there are some that to us, it is clear that even if we gave them 50 years, they would say that the time is not enough. But we can no longer wait. September, we will be commemorating 100 years since the last slavery was abolished. 100 years. And yet there has been no justice. A whole century. So we cannot keep waiting for those who do not want to reckon, who do not want to come to the table with urgency and with acknowledgement that this is a matter that can no longer be swept under the carpet. So we disagree with the notion that there was no time for negotiations. Secondly, the claim they have made that we are seeking to create a hierarchy of crimes. We have stated clearly that it is not about hierarchy. We are only speaking to a historical fact. Never in the history of mankind have we had such a systemic crime. We took over 3 centuries, more than 300 years, with its consequences still lingering unto this day, manifesting in racism, in structural inequality. So we are talking about the contextual framing of what has happened, not about ranking crimes. And we made that very clear. So we are clear in our minds that some are just deliberately stonewalling and introducing red herring. But what is fundamental, which nobody can deny, is that more than 12.5 million people were forcibly removed from the continent. More than 3 million people died, were tossed into the transatlantic ocean, which is a mass grave site. And in our country, Ghana, we are currently, UNESCO has certified that, the country with the highest number of slave forts and castles. We are living witnesses on a daily basis when we go into those castles and forts and we see the door of no return. We break down. My daughter Indiva, on an excursion only last week, broke down and asked me, "Daddy, what did we do wrong? And why has there been no justice?" I had no answers for my 14-year-old daughter. So we live with these experiences on a daily basis, and we live with the structural consequences. And that is what this is about. All those other matters about ranking, about time, about more space for negotiations, we believe that they are just red herrings, and it is not a demonstration of good faith so far as the pursuit of justice in this matter is concerned.
One of the key reasons raised by the United States for which reason they are abstaining is the lack of clarity on who is the recipient of the reparatory justice. What is your response to that?
That is surprising, because we have in this resolution talked about frameworks which will put in place that will take care of the consequences. We all know that the consequences of the transatlantic slave trade has been the lack of opportunity, discrimination, the degradation of people of color. So we have said, let's have frameworks that will serve as endowment funds to support education, to support empowerment, to support skills training, capital for entrepreneurs, and all of that. And we have made clear that African leaders or Caribbean leaders are not looking for money. It goes against our conscience to seek to profit from this. We don't want any payments made to us directly. We are talking about courses to deal with the structural inequalities. And we are also talking about the return of artifacts to the continent. It's all in the resolution. There are thousands of artifacts from Egypt all the way to the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana. Those artifacts should not be returned on piecemeal as and when those who are in custody of those artifacts are in a good mood. So we have outlined what must be done and to whom these redress should be addressed to. So again, it is totally wrong for a claim to be made.
It is totally wrong for a claim to be made that we are looking for money. He made it clear. Yet, the newsmongers introducing red herrings into our beautiful story, stumbling blocks, they always would stick to the propaganda. Kemi Badenoch, nay, Kemi Adegoke, said no, they ain't paying no money. After all, Britain helped to stop the trade that it started. Does it make sense to you? Belavia, Janet, Ribeiro, Adi made it clear, we don't need your money. Keep your banks. Let your conscience serve you right. But give us equal opportunities and give us the respect that we deserve. My brother, my sister, the debate is still going on. For them, giving us visa is equivalent to reparations. They are paying for the slave crimes. What an insult. He calls us demanding reparations as an insult. A Sri Lankan wannabe British who doesn't even know where his country, Sri Lanka, is on the map. Has he visited that country before? Does he know the history of slavery? How slavery ravaged that beautiful country? And how Africans helped build Sri Lanka. It is when people are history illiterate. They are so poor. Upstairs and downstairs, all they have is money.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.